everyone and welcome back to Put It to TSET. Today we are looking at the WWE All-Stars Brawlstick for the PlayStation 3. Now, I'm a huge wrestling nerd, I'm a huge video game nerd, and so the fact that I didn't have this in my collection already is a huge travesty. But the point is that, you know, this has been touted as one of the best home arcade sticks money can buy. I don't believe it. Personally, I don't believe it. I mean, if you've seen me using an arcade stick before on this channel, I generally use a Mayflash arcade fight stick F300. I did once upon a time use a Logic 3 PlayStation 2 arcade stick with a USB adapter. So, yeah, I mean, I've had to play around with a few arcade sticks, but with this one touted as the arcade stick, you know, and it's wrestling themed as well. Let's just have a look at the box. Have a look at the box. I just had to buy it. See, my first major issue is that it is made by Mad Catz. Nothing against Mad Catz. Everyone rips on them for having, you know, oh, they're the cheap second-hand controllers you give to your friend when they come around your house, or your little brother or little sister. But I've not had much problem with Mad Catz products. I mean, I've had a memory card fail on me on the PS2, and that was frustrating, but all in all, I've not had much problems with them. I quite like it. Let's see, so WWE All-Stars for PlayStation 3, 8-button layout with additional multi-speed turbo functionality. Who the hell uses turbo these days? Anyone use turbo? I've not even looked at it since the NES days. Controller lock, unlock switch prevents accidental button presses. Nice. Three-way switch enables joystick to function as left, right, or analog on D-pad. Okay, that's helpful. Genuine arcade layout, and licensed artwork featuring your favourite WWE stars. Fantastic. What's this? 13.4M. Oh, it's a 13 feet 4 metre cable. That's nice. So you don't have to be pressed up against the television to play this thing. Okay. So, if you've not played it before, WWE All-Stars is a fantastic arcade-style fighting game. PS3, Xbox 360 and Wii. I think it was also a PS2 release. Might have been an original Xbox release. I can't remember. But definitely, I played mostly the 360 version. Shame I can get a 360 version of this, but, you know, we won't argue with that. Oh, look at this. Lovely. Oh, that's gorgeous. Should we take it out? No, let's leave it in there. Okay, how am I going to do this? Oh, I'm going to drop it. I'm going to break it. Oh, we'll put the... Bear with me.
Cookies. Oh no, pan, man down!
Okay, right, so we are back. Completely brand new in packet, which is very nice. I'm going to open this up now. Let's have a look. Oh, there we go. So, lovely, nice long USB cable. You can see that in frame, can't you? Yes, USB, lovely, nicely done. Let's have a look at the instructions, because I'm one of those people that can't do anything without looking at the instructions. I could, but it just seems pointless that they give you instructions. Why not look at them? Right, so we've got ourselves a turbo activation buttons instructions for proper use. We've got LED indicators to indicate which turbo buttons have been set. You've got your control stick buttons here, lock there, home button and the indicator lights there. This is a universal thing because it doesn't tell you whether it's PS3 indicator buttons, indicator LEDs, or whether it's the 360 on the home button in the middle there, which is, you know, fair enough. On the back, it's a good thing I read the instructions. I wouldn't have known about that. On the back, there's start and select buttons. I'll show you them in a minute. I'm not going to go into this important disclaimer. Three-way stick, quick. Jesus Christ, how small is this writing? Can you read it to me? Because it's minuscule. There's a lot of it and all. Caution, warranty. Okay, so most of that's no good and repetitive motion. So basically, we're looking from here to here. Can you see that? Is that even in frame? That's not in frame. So from this point upwards. Okay, but to be honest, I'm probably not going to use the turbo functionality, so I'm not worried about that. The unit itself is hefty, very nice. I've not even played with this yet, so... Ooh. Okay. Not a lot. There's a little bit of travel there, but nothing you'd notice. Nice clicky buttons. We like clicky buttons. Is that dirty? That's dirty already. I think people have had this open and looked at it, but not actually used it. Filthy, filthy. Yeah, that's nice. Nice clicky. It feels solid. Nice and good. Classic arcade style buttons. Clicky, clicky, clicky. There's a little bit of leeway there, and then you actually get the button press. You've actually got to really push hard on these. I prefer slightly more resistance on my buttons, but it feels like the old arcade games. I can't really complain about that. Okay, so you've got a left stick, so that now changes this to the left hand stick. The DP setting. Wouldn't it help if I was closer? You can see what I'm doing then, wouldn't it? Yes, Timus, wouldn't be clever. God dear, we're professional here. So you've got your left stick, so that makes it the left hand stick on the PS3 controller. D-pad, right stick. So depending on your preferences or your setup, that's what you need to set up. We'll leave it on left stick for now. Lock, I don't know why you'd need a lock on it. I suppose just in case you don't want to push the button straight away. It's fair enough. So your home button, which is essential these days. Turbo button, which will, keep tapping it, you tap up the turbos. You've got your X, A, circle and cross. X, did I say X? That's square. God, what am I like? L1, L2, R1, R2, typical layout. So you've usually got your, that's not typical layout. See, usually, square, triangle, R1, cross, circle, R2. That's not how I normally have things set up. Is that how it's set up on other things? It's not. It's not. That's interesting. See, I'm used to having to go with a 360 style controller and using the right shoulder button, so using the two face buttons and then a trigger, and then a face and a trigger as my 6-button layout. But no, on the Mayflash, it's different. It's filthy. Ignore the filth. That's my filth. It's got square and triangle the same place, but this has got R1 and R2 rather than... I've never noticed that. I've just set it up and just let it go. Similar sort of buttons. This is a bit more of a looser joystick, this is a bit more solid. But similar sort of things, this one, although you can choose whether it's standard controller, Xbox, PS3, stick, D-pad, Turbo 1, Turbo 2, and select Turbo set. Things and bits and pieces. So yeah, looking back at this then, so we've got ourselves the fabled start and select buttons here rather than on the front, which is fair enough. I'm very unlikely to accidentally push those. What else we got? Anything else interesting? Have a look at the base, because you like to have a look at the base, don't you? We like to look at things, bits and pieces. Otherwise, it's it's just a black unit, and it's rather nice. The artwork on it is exactly what it says on the tin. It's the WWE All Stars artwork, the Rock versus Triple H. It's nice. It wouldn't be what I'd personally have chosen to have on the faceplate, but to be honest, how often I'm actually looking at the arcade stick when I'm playing a game? The answer is not often at all. I suppose all that remains is to see how well it works. Oh, I've just noticed something. Before we go and see how well it works, can I just get a close-up on this? Can you see the little up, down, left, right on the washer there? That I like. That's neat. Anyway, yeah, so enough faffing about. Let's go try this thing. I guess I'm going to have to go, put a link, and I'll see you in a minute. Maybe if you haven't just watched that video and disappeared from me. Bye. Oh, what? I ran away from that and it... Nah, calling shenanigans with that one. Nuts. Hello everyone and welcome back to those of you who went, and hi, we're still here, those of you who didn't go. Right, So let me point something out. If you haven't watched the video, there were a few issues with this fight stick. Most chiefly among them was the fact that this is the light attack, this is the strong attack, and this is the reverse grapple button. Wait, there's more. This is the weak grapple button, strong grapple button, reverse strike button. Who designed this thing? Seriously, you'd think strike, strike, reverse, grapple, grapple, reverse. Simple. No. That was a touch frustrating. Another thing that was quite frustrating is the fact that All Stars makes use of the left analog stick, the D-pad and the right analog stick in its controller functionality. And they're not like nothing buttons either. I mean, the left stick controls your movement. The D-pad is a taunt, which increases your special meter. And then the right stick changes direction of who you're facing and who you're attacking. Which in multiplayer modes is a must-have. I mean, I know there's settings you can play around with it. It's not a massive issue. You can play the game without it. I did. But, you've produced a stick for a game that you can't use with the game completely. Frustrating. Very frustrating. But ignoring that, is this a good arcade fight stick in the medium price range, shall we say? Because there's low end price sticks which are just cheap and nasty. There's high end ones like Hori, and they're just ridiculous actual arcade buttons and switches and which would cost a fortune. But this is medium range sort of, you know, it's going to cost you, you know, as much as a brand new video game. Is it any good? I think so. The stick's solid. I really enjoyed using the arcade stick. It's fantastic. The buttons, although I complained about them earlier about them being a bit not responsive enough, they're a bit too flimsy. I didn't notice while I was playing. They were really quite good. What can I say? What else was it? I tried it on, obviously, WWE All-Stars on the PS3 worked fine. I went onto my PC. I gave classic Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo a go. It was like I was back in the arcades, no problems there. Street Fighter 5 worked fine, Skullgirls was brilliant. I then also tried it in my Xbox 360, but unfortunately it is locked to PS3. So I figured that was the case, but I'd risk it just in case it did somehow magically work. But no, alas, it is literally PS3 and PC only. You probably use it on a PS4. Definitely can't use it on a PS2, even with an adapter, I should imagine. So yeah, it's a solid thing. It's really nice. The gripe with the lack of full functionality, some controllers have tried to work around that. I mean, bringing back the Mayflash here, as you can see, it's a similar. Hang on, it's a similar sort of layout, all the same sort of buttons. Start button there instead of on the back. But with this one, it does have a USB port in the bottom, so you can plug in a standard controller. So you can just, you know, set up your menus through the controller and then just fight with the stick, which is nice, but it wouldn't solve the problem of I've not got enough buttons, because you wouldn't have a controller and an arcade stick. It wouldn't work. So considering that's its major downfall, and the button layout, which can be adjusted in settings in game, I quite highly recommend this. Will I say it is the best fight stick out there? No. No, it's lovely, it's fantastic, but I think if you're going to get, it's a specialised tool. If you want versatility to use on any console, near enough, then your thing's got Mayflash and the other creations are fine. But this Mad Catz Brawlstick, for what it does, if you've got get a 360 version for your 360, PS3 version for your PS3, or just any of them to use USB and PC, this is a solid fight stick, very responsive, fantastic build. I quite highly recommend this. It's a hefty price tag, not, you know, massive amounts of money. As much as a brand new game, even second hand, this costs as much as a brand new game, and it is a solid bit of kit. If you're an arcade gamer, fighting gamer, it's well worth having, well worth owning. Thumbs up, and what can I say? I'm a wrestling fan, so of course I'm going to freaking love it.